Good evening and welcome to William Penn High School. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on the live stream for 302 Sports as we have a matchup of two top 5 teams tonight. The number 5 William Penn Colonials with a 15-4 record getting set to take on the number 2 Smyrna Eagles, who come into the game with a 17-2 record. Their only in-state loss to Cape Henlopen early in the season, and their other loss to a nationally ranked Roselle Catholic team, currently ranked number 18 in the USA Today poll. Smyrna is going to be tipping off. The big man will do it for them, Nalik Beasley Johnson, a junior transfer, and he'll be tipping off against Gerard Wall from William Penn. Also starting for William Penn is Carlos Dean, Taryn Cochran, Jordan Harding, and Eric Hicks. It's senior night here in Newcastle as we get set to tip off. The tip is up, and Gerard Wall, the smaller of the two men, comes down with it. He hands it off to Hardy. For Smyrna, Greg Bloodsworth, Jameer Garnett, Caleb Matthews, Isaiah Wilson, and Nalik Beasley Johnson in the starting lineup as Wall drives in with the left hand, misses, and it comes down into the hand of Beasley Johnson for Smyrna.
Smyrna opening up in a man-to-man defense, bring the ball down the floor against William Penn, who also surprisingly opens up in man.
Caleb Matthews drives in. He kicks it off to Bloodsworth. The transfer from St. Thomas More. In and out. Coming down with it is Garnett, and he's fouled, and he's going to go to the foul line and shoot 2. Nice crowd here, Marty, tonight for this conference game, non-conference game, I should say.
Great crowd. This should be a lot of fun. 2 of the better teams in the state. You know, one of the things Smyrna does just about better than anybody is crash the offensive boards, whether it's Beasley Johnson, Jameer Garnett, the guards. It really slows down any team's transition game, and William Penn has a decent transition game. It's going to slow that down tonight.
Jameer Garnett, a 63% free throw shooter, makes the first. He'll get a second, and Smyrna is on the scoreboard first with a 1-0 just underway here. Tip-off scheduled for 5:15, but about a 20-minute senior ceremony in which William Penn honored the senior cheerleaders, the senior basketball players, and did the same thing for the Smyrna Eagles as Garnett makes the second, and it is 2-0 Smyrna. 7:23 play here in the first quarter. William Penn moving left to right. The all-white uniforms in what they call the cherry red stripes, and a shot there up and no good by Hicks comes down in the hands of Smyrna.
Right off the bat, Smyrna cutting off the inside game, forcing William Penn to launch from outside. Again, Smyrna very good on the boards. It's going to be a lot of one-and-dones for William Penn tonight.
And firing from 3 is Garnett. It's off the front of the rim and no good. Hands into the hands of Wilson. He hands it off to Matthews. Matthews double-teamed out front. He manages to get it over to Bloodsworth right in front of the William Penn bench. Another jumper by Garnett. This one is good. So 4 points quickly for Garnett, and the Eagles are up 4-0.
One of the parts of his game that Garnett has improved immensely is his mid-range jumper. He can also hit from behind the arc, but he's not just a one-trick pony on the inside.
Gerard Wall for William Penn has missed the last several games. A coach's decision. They're happy to have him back. Dean drives in, puts it up on the right side with the left hand, and is fouled. He'll go to the line to shoot 2.
Carlos Dean taking advantage of a rare start here on senior night. A nice drive with the left hand through the middle of that man-to-man defense by Smyrna. Both these teams excellent at moving the ball around the court. A lot of off-ball movement. They whip the ball around. Caleb Matthews, one of the best in the business.
Matthews picks up the foul. The first foul shot is up and good. Checking in for William Penn is Desmond Bagley, the junior, who normally gets the start, and he's going to come in for Eric Hicks starting because of senior night. Second shot is up and no good for Carlos Dean, so he makes the first of 2. Gets William Penn on the scoreboard. It's 4-1, 6:23 play here in the first quarter. William Penn in that man-to-man defense. Both these teams extremely quick. Bloodsworth has it. He gets it over to Beasley Johnson, and it goes out of bounds. Going to be William Penn ball. Careless mistake there by the Eagles.
Absolutely. And William Penn, surprisingly, they usually start in a 2-3 defense. They have a lot of length. What you can get away with in man-to-man is you're still able to cut down those lanes because of the length. A lot of long arms, long legs on this William Penn starting lineup.
Taryn Cochran has it at half court. He gets it over to Jordan Harding. He's the leading scorer on this team. A 3-pointer by Wall off the front of the rim. Bloodsworth skies for the rebound. Battling him is Cochran. It's going to go out on Cochran despite his protest. Going to be Smyrna ball.
Right off the bat, William Penn struggling from the outside, and Bloodsworth there going for the rebound. A huge pickup for Smyrna this year. A point guard transfer, was one of the stars of the St. Thomas More team that went to the semifinals last season.
And so Smyrna lost a 7-footer but gained a 6'8", 6'9" forward, and then also a point guard And now with the steal, it's William Penn on the other side. Cochran goes behind his back, rolls out of bounds off of William Penn. I'm not sure he went behind the back on purpose or lost control and tried to recover by going out of bounds.
You know what? He was actually thrown off, too, by the defense of Caleb Matthews. Caleb just took a perpendicular route there, stayed right next to him, didn't stop, didn't try to force the ball, just kind of made Cochran make a decision on his own. Cochran, with the mistake, loses it out of bounds.
Bloodsworth being guarded tightly by Bagley, both number 2, both about the same size, and another turnover, this time out of bounds off Matthews. Bloodworth pointing to himself like it was his fault, and Matthews looked at him like it was his fault.
Yeah, a little roughshod with the ball movement for both teams so far. Neither one has settled in yet. When these teams are at their best, again, they will whip the ball around the perimeter. They're able to beat any defense with how fast they move the ball. And both teams with very good shooters. Smyrna, in fact, with 4 scores averaging double figures.
Amadou Tyne, another senior, checks in for Carlos Dean. Steve Christensen said, well, we can, senior night, you like to start all your seniors, but we got 7 of them, so it can't happen. All 7 have been on the court so far tonight, so a nice job by the fourth-year coach shuffling people in and out by Steve Christensen.
That time, Jordan Harding, the 16-point leading scorer for this William Penn team. Great size at 6'5", tried to get inside. Smyrna, great defense going up and down.
Bagley inbounds to Harding in the quarter. He's being guarded by Garnett, and Garnett is going to pick up the foul. So for Garnett, it's going to be his first, the team second. Foul was on the floor, so it'll be sideline out of bounds. William Penn will inbounds it right in front of the Smyrna bench across the way from where we're sitting.
Garnett every now and then will pick up some cheapies. He's been in foul trouble a few times throughout the season. He's got to be careful. You don't want to get those little ticky-tack fouls, one of the best for Smyrna.
And so William Penn has it. Gerard Wall averaging 14.6 a game, so that was a big loss. Those couple plays. Alley-oop from Harding is good to Gerard Wall. That's the points they were missing.
They have run that play multiple times this season. Gerard Wall with an outstanding vertical leap, and you just can't place that ball better in his hands. Just amazing execution all the way around.
And so a beautiful alley-oop dunk, and now a call underneath.
I believe that's going to be on Garnett. That may be his second foul. Oh, they're going to call this on Beasley Johnson. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, right away, a little helter-skelter play for Smyrna on the offensive end. They've thrown the ball away a couple times. Now Beasley Johnson picks up the offensive foul, and William Penn tried to get in gear here.
William Penn with the ball, trailing by 1. They were down 4-0, a foul shot, and then that alley-oop dunk made it 4-3. They get it in the low block to Wall. Crowd looking for a foul on an offensive charge. The Smyrna crowd that time don't get it, but the shot is no good. Comes down into the hands of Smyrna. Bloodworth drives in. He kicks it back out to Isaiah Wilson, and a ball heading our way. Fortunately, Cal Matthews picks it off. Number 10 being guarded by another number 10. An NBA range 3 is no good. A great box out inside by Harding, and I believe that's going to be Beasley Johnson's second foul.
Yeah, Beasley Johnson that time going over the back. I believe he got away with it one time before. This time the referee's on the lookout for it. The shot for Smyrna, you'd like to say it's not the shot they were looking for, but Caleb Matthews really has the green light to shoot from anywhere in the gym. He's one of the best pure shooters in the state. That time got a decent pick from Garnett out front, just not able to hit.
Nashawn Sylvester, the sophomore, checks in for Beasley Johnson, who'll have a seat with 2 fouls. Twice as many points heading to the bench and 3 times as many rebounds. So a big loss with 2 fouls here early on for Smyrna. Harding tries to get it inside. They kick it back out. Amadou Tyne, he's the senior that checked in. Doesn't get a lot of playing time, but Steve Christensen getting him some time here on senior night. A 3-pointer by Harding, top of the key, off the back of the rim, and skying for the rebound is Garnett.
Great job by Kevin Garnett of blocking out, getting position there. Again, William Penn is really going to struggle on the offensive boards. They're going to need to knock down some of these open outside shots.
Bloodsworth trying to penetrate. Jamie Garnett doesn't average many rebounds, surprisingly, but I think it's because he played so far away from the basket with Beasley Johnson in. And they're going to call a foul underneath. That foul is going to be, I believe, on Taryn Cochran. Checking in for William Penn is going to be Israel Mongaray, and he's going to check in for Amadou Tyne. So Amadou Tyne, the senior, going to have a seat. Be interesting to see if he gets back in, especially with this game.
That's true, yeah, with this, exactly. And for Jamie Garnett, he's still, although his numbers are down a little bit this season, still almost averaging a double-double with 14 points, 9 rebounds. But again, he's added more of an outside game this season.
Smyrna ball still with a 1-point lead. 3-pointer up and no good, but an offensive rebound by Wilson. He whips it over to Caleb Matthews. He drives in, loses the handle, and then a foul on the drive in there by Sylvester. He gets tripped, and I believe it's going to be called on the floor. foul is going to be against Mongaray, who just checked in. It'll be his third, the team's third.
That's a play that usually results in points for Smyrna throughout the season, but William Penn is so quick with their lateral movement, getting their hands in passing lanes.
Three-pointer by Garnett right in front of us, or to the left of us, I should say. Corner is short and then ends up in the hands of William Penn's Harding. Smyrna still with a 4-3 lead. Not much scoring since that opening minute, and Wall drives in. It was going to be short anyway, but Jameer Garnett made sure by blocking it away. Bloodsworth goes 1-on-2, floats it up, no good. Skying for the rebound is Isaiah Wilson. His putback, no good, and coming down with it is Gerard Wall for William Penn. They work it around. A three-pointer on the right side is good by Buck Bowling.
Buck Bowling, another one of the additions to his game this season. He's been much more proficient from beyond the arc. You cannot fall asleep out there. That time Smyrna just left him wide alone on the right wing. He'll knock that down. Averages
8 points a game. He didn't get the start because of the senior night. Matthews, a three-pointer from NBA range on the right wing, no good. Rebound by Harding and William Penn, and they're going to stop the game there. Wall got poked in the eye. Didn't call foul, but they did stop the game. Now, this would be interesting to see if they make him leave.
Yes.
And it doesn't look like they're going to. And it might be because maybe he wasn't attended to.
That's true.
So it's similar to your shoe being untied,
yes.
I guess. And so with 2:08 to play here, William Penn with its first lead of the game, 6-4 with the ball, moving left to right. Bagley has it, and he gets it to Harding underneath. Harding tries to make a move inside, gets through Matthews, puts it up, comes back down, blocked away that time by Wilson, and coming away with it is Bloodsworth. He runs right by Desmond Bagley, and Bagley has no choice but to reach out and foul him. So for Bagley, that's his first, team's fourth. So 14 fouls already with 1:48 to play here in the first quarter.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of fouls. What we haven't seen is a lot of made buckets. Both teams starting out pretty much ice cold from the field. That time, pretty silly foul on Desmond Bagley. He was a transfer from Sally's 4 years ago to this William Penn team. He's really done a nice job this season.
And so Bloodsworth with it on the left wing, being guarded by Bagley right in front of where we're sitting. Gets it over to Jameer Garnett, the first-team All-State player. He tries to get it to the fellow first-team All-State player from last year, Caleb Matthews. Does a nice job saving that ball. Matthews with a pump fake, top of the key, drives right in, puts it up to the left, and it's good.
Caleb Matthews, exceptional body control as it goes down the lane. That time hangs in the air, switches from right to left hand, lays it off the glass. A great job by Caleb Matthews. And William Penn, you've got to close down that lane when Caleb has the ball.
Minute to play. We're tied at 6. A three-pointer from the corner by Wall. No good. Skying for the rebound was Buck Bowling. Came down with it, but it ended up rolling toward the out of bounds, and then they tried to convert on the fast break the other way, and there's going to be a foul called, and I believe that foul is going to be on Desmond Bagley. If it is, it'll be his second. He was just a little bit out of control there.
Yes, that was the basketball version of pass interference on Desmond Bagley as he tried to take the long pass down the court away from Greg Bloodsworth, but a good job of the referees. That was kind of an easy call to make. So, yeah, we've seen a number of fouls. We're now at 5 fouls committed by the William Penn Colonials.
Senior Eric Hicks checks in for Desmond Bagley, who will go out with those 2 fouls. A little bit of moisture on the floor there. That's Vice Principal Eric Jones, former star at Delaware State.
That's right.
Played basketball here. He actually was on Coach Steve DeGennaro's. That's 2 coaches ago on his coaching staff. Coach DeGennaro is in the house tonight as well. And a throwaway there by Caleb Matthews.
The miscommunication. I mean, that time Jameer Garnett kind of gave a signal that he was going to head toward the basket. Instead, Caleb Matthews, who didn't pick it up, just throws the ball out of bounds. So some uncharacteristic misses early on in this Smyrna offense.
You know, it's ever been since that alley-oop dunk.
Yes,
Smyrna has not really looked good on offense. Even when they scored, it was after they almost threw the ball away twice before Caleb Matthews finally drove in and scooped it up with the left hand. 43 seconds to play. Tied up here 6-6. A big game here at William Penn. The number 2 Smyrna Eagles, number 5 William Penn Colonials. These 2 teams have been in the top 5 for most of the last several weeks. And a foul outside there. And again, that's another one of those fouls that as a coach you don't like to see. And that's against Sylvester, his first, the team's 5th. But again, the opponent's not going to hurt you that far away.
That's a really silly foul by Sylvester. All William Penn was doing was holding the ball there, possibly in a last shot situation. They're not going to be in any hurry at all, and no need for Sylvester to pick up that foul.
Jakir Hampton checks in for Smyrna. He'll check Caleb Matthews, who will rest the last 30 seconds of this quarter. My guess is be back in right away to start the second quarter. 18 seconds left to play here. Wall has it. Coach Steve Christensen calling out the play that he wants run here. Smyrna in the man-to-man defense. 10 seconds left to play. Hicks has it over on the left wing. He drives in, gives it off to Buck Bowling on the left side. Drakes one dribble in, and it's hard off the back of the rim. And firing it the full length of the court is Nishan Sylvester, and no good. So we're going to end the first period just like we started the game, all tied up. 6-6, Smyrna and William Penn. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the second quarter here on 302 Sports. Welcome back to William Penn High School. We're 6-6 here. The Smyrna Eagles and the William Penn Colonials. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on 302 Sports. In the final regular season game for both of these teams, William Penn will be finished. They'll have to sit back and see where they fall on Friday. They seem to be right on the bubble, according to Steve Christensen, between having a first-round bye and not. A win tonight almost secures a first-round bye. A loss doesn't end their hopes for it, but certainly a win would increase the chances tremendously. And William Penn has it inside. A nice feed underneath to Gerard Wall for two.
You already see the difference Gerard Wall makes in this offense. He's able to play a number of different positions. He gets inside. One of his bigger gifts is darting into the middle and then passing out for shots to his teammates.
And so he puts William Penn in the lead, 8-6. Second lead they have, and a near fast break there is going to be thwarted, and that foul is going to be on Greg Bloodsworth. That's going to be his first. Checking in for William Penn is Taryn Cochran. He's going to give Jordan Harding a breather. You
know, this defense from William Penn is the kind they've showed all season. It's important to note they gave up 74 points in their last game and a 24-point loss to Howard. So these kids are coming out here with something to prove. Gerard Wall's back in the lineup, and you just see defensively they're in more of a sync.
And that 74 points was the most they had given up all season. And inside they get the ball, and going up with it is Cochran, and he thought he was fouled, but Mr. Moser said, nope, the hands are up. That's how we teach it. So it's going to be Smyrna ball.
You're right. Smyrna does a fabulous job. Andrew Mears teaches his kids to go straight up and down. They're always vertical. You don't bring your arms over top of the shooter. That's how you get called for the blocking foul. So great job defensively by Smyrna.
8-6 William Penn with the lead, playing a man-to-man defense as Bloodsworth brings it up for the Eagles. He's trying to work his way inside. A nice job there defensively by Mongari, who's drawn that assignment. Caleb Matthews has it. Gerard Wall is on him. They work it over to the left side. That's Bloodsworth with it now. They get it to Jameer Garnett in the left corner. He puts up a jumper, nothing but the bottom of the net.
You know, I said that just a little while ago. You cannot leave Garnett alone. Buck Bowling has to get out on him a little bit further. Garnett's added that element to his game. He's much more confident in that outside jumper.
They gave him a three-pointer. I thought he was on the line, but they gave him a three. That means he's got 7 on the night, and Smyrna with a 9-6 or 9-8 lead, I should say. A turnover by William Penn is going to give it back to the Eagles.
Yeah, both teams offensively, we're seeing some uncharacteristic ineffectiveness, inefficiencies in both of these teams. Both of them usually run very smooth offenses against Smyrna with 4 different scorers averaging double digits. William Penn's been led in scoring by 3 different players during this season.
Caleb Matthews with the ball on the left side. He's being guarded closely by Gerard Wall. If you're just joining us, Gerard Wall has missed the last several games. Jameer Garnett, a jumper from the left corner, 3. Doesn't go, and coming down with it is Cochran for William Penn.
That was a great job of Sylvester blocking out on Isaiah Wilson there. Isaiah Wilson's a kid who's only gotten about 9 minutes per game playing time this season. He was a latecomer from the football team. Of course, the quarterback on that state championship team, but Isaiah Wilson's given them a lot of good minutes recently.
Sylvester's going to check back in. He checks in for Jakir Hampton, and for William Penn, trying to see somebody checked in. Oh, it was Taryn Cochran checking back in for the Colonials. Smyrna works around. They get it over in the hands of Sylvester. Sylvester gets it to the top of the key. Garnett there. You can tell that Buck Bowling is kind of playing off him, kind of staring him to shoot almost. And instead he lobs it inside. A great give underneath to Isaiah Wilson, who tries to get it up, and it's blocked out of bounds. Going to stay Smyrna ball.
That is such a great job by Jamir Garnett. And then the defense inside for William Penn is Isaiah Wilson with a great pump fake, but William Penn not biting.
Garnett drives in, puts it up strong, and a late call there on the whistle. We'll see who gets this. Either way, Garnett's going to head to the line, and they're going to call that foul on Buck Bowling. It will be his first, the team's sixth. So Smyrna's going to be in 1-on-1 the rest of the way.
Yeah, the only thing about that foul, again, is it was a late call on Buck Bowling. It looked like he got a little piece of the arm from our vantage point, but still they did not call until late. And Jamir Garnett, who's, if you get to the end of a game and there's one guy you want to foul on this team, it's either him or Beasley Johnson.
Garnett's first shot is up and off the back of the rim, a 63% free throw shooter. He made the first two, had the first 2 points of the game, but misses the third.
And, John, on this team, you got Caleb Matthews averaging 90% from the free throw line and Bloodsworth averaging 86%. So two very good free throw shooters on the Smyrna club.
Made the second, but they're going to call a lane violation. That lane violation is going to be on the senior, Isaiah Wilson. So no credit for either free throw. It's going to stay 9-8 Smyrna with the lead over the Colonials. 5:18 to play here in Newcastle at William Penn High. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan as the William Penn Colonials are working the ball around. Mongaray has it. They get it over into the corner. Cochran drives in and a charge, and I think that's a good call.
That's a great call. Cochran completely out of control. He lowered his left arm, put his elbow into the defender there, and you and I have said that's one of those cases. If the offensive player looks like he's out of control, 9 times out of 10, he's going to pick up the offensive call.
Dean is going to check in for Cochran, who just picked up his second foul, and even though it is the 7th foul on William Penn, it's a player control foul, so Smyrna will not get to shoot the 1-on-1. Instead, they're going to have the ball 5 minutes to play with a 9-8 lead. Great crowd here at William Penn. Not a sellout, but pretty darn close here for a Tuesday night game. Started about half an hour late because of the ceremony for the seniors. William Penn celebrated the seniors, not only their seniors, but the seniors here from Smyrna, which was certainly nice of them to do. Ball gets whipped over to the sideline, driving in strong and scoring is Sylvester. His first 2 points of the night gives Smyrna an 11-8 lead.
Mongaray made the mistake there. He went for the steal. Usually William Penn's known for great help defense. That time no one stepped into the lane to stop Sylvester.
Harding's got it. He's being guarded by Matthews. Harding's got about 3 inches on him. They get the ball back up top. He tries to get around Matthews. Matthews does a nice job moving his feet, but nice move inside and converting is Harding. His first score of the night. Team's leading scorer with 16. Took till now to get his first 2.
Jordan Harding, a great job of changing directions in the lane. He can play with either hand. That time switches to his left, goes up with a nice little soft jump shot.
And so Smyrna with the ball, just a 1-point lead now. Bloodsworth trying to penetrate. A nice job on defense there by Mangari. And he forces it back out where Wilson has it. And Bloodsworth gets it right in front of us now. Looks like he's going to reset.
And John Wall is glued to Caleb Matthews. There is nothing available for Caleb Matthews right now.
Well, I think people cover Caleb Matthews like they cover Nashawn Holland.
That's
for
exactly it.
A lot of people think if you shut those two guys down, you got a really good shot.
The only difference is a guy like Wall can do it.
Yeah, right. And going to call a timeout. Coach Mears wants a 30-second timeout. He saw his team in trouble, and so he went ahead and took the time out. While they do that, I'm going to tell you, Marty, about an exciting game, 3 of them that are happening this Friday. It's the Special Olympics Unified Basketball Showcase. There have been 6 teams who have been playing regular season games all season long, and Cesar Rodney and Newark Charter are going to tip off at 4, followed by Cape Henlopen and McCain at 5:30, and Appoquinimink and Middletown at 7 o'clock. And if you can't make it to the game, it's at Middletown High School, completely free of charge. 302 Sports has generously donated the broadcast production for that event, and it's an event that's going to attract attention all over the country because of the uniqueness of it. It's a great way to tip off the high school postseason. Of course, earlier that day on 302 Sports at 2 o'clock, the brackets will be announced for the first time ever on a live stream at the DIAA office in Dover. That's at 2 o'clock, so make sure you tune in for that. You don't have to rely on social media like years past. You can see it live. 3:27 to play here. Smyrna with an 11-10 lead, and launching from 3, it's no good. That was Sylvester down into the hands of the Colonials. Harding's got it. He tries to whip it across, and Wilson picks it off. So an errant pass there is going to give the ball back to Smyrna with a 1-point lead as we approach the 3-minute mark here in the second quarter. Another 3 by Bloodsworth, no good. This time, flying in was Sylvester, isn't able to get it, and coming down with it is Gerard Wall. He's trying to go the other way, gets across the timeline, hands it back off to Harding. Harding pushes off on Matthews. No call, maybe partly because it ended up in the hands of Sylvester. He floats one up, goes in and out, and coming down with it is Harding. He gets it ahead to Gerard Wall. Nice dish inside to the cutting Israel Mangare for 2.
That's a great job by Wall. His addition back to this team has meant so much. As we said, it was a coach's decision. He missed a few games, but he's so important to the chemistry and the smoothness with which the offense run. That time finds Mangari, who at 5'7", is a small guy, but has been a great addition to this William Penn team.
2:22 to play here in the first half. A low-scoring game, 12-11 lead for the Colonials. Matthews dishes it outside, and driving on the baseline is Sylvester. He goes up and is fouled, much to the chagrin of this William Penn crowd.
I got to go with the William Penn crowd on that one. It sounded like all ball that Gerard Wall got there. Of course, they have the better vantage point than we do, so we'll accede to the referee's wishes. And if you're hearing the crowd, Mike, that is they're not yelling for anyone named Lou in the gymnasium right now.
Gerard Wall just picked up his second foul, so my guess is somebody is going to check in. And as I say that, Isaac Brady heads to the scorer's table. First foul shot is up and good for Sylvester. He shoots 70% on the year. Isaac Brady, the 6-foot sophomore, he's going to check in for Gerard Wall to finish out the half here. My guess is 2:15 to play. We are tied 12-12. As Sylvester gets ready to take his second shot. Nothing but the bottom of the net. 4 points for Sylvester on the night. Jacquire Hampton is going to check in for Sylvester with 2:15 to play. And Smyrna with a 13-12 lead. So back and forth this entire quarter. Certainly not a high-scoring game.
No. And Hampton holds the distinction of having been the leading scorer in one of Smyrna's games. The only one outside of Matthews, Garnett, and Bloodsworth.
And so they work the ball around the perimeter. Dean has it. He gets it over into the corner to Salako. And they work it around again. Salako's got it, top of the key. He drives in. Ball gets stripped away. And should be in a one-on-one. It is going to be a one-on-one. The foul is going to be on Smyrna. And I believe the Smyrna foul was on Jacquire Hampton. That will be his first. It's the team's 7th, and so heading for the one-on-one is Isaac Brady. And I was I had the wrong name and the wrong number. It's been Brady, number 14 for the Colonials, who was working the ball around and ended up on the foul line.
Yeah, both these teams go fairly deep into their benches. A number of kids getting a number of good minutes on both teams, so both teams stay fresh. They like to play at quick paces.
Brady missed it off the back of the rim, hustled in, got the rebound, drove the baseline, missed it again, and he comes down with the rebound. So in this possession, he's had 2 offensive rebounds off of his 2 missed shots. 1:42 to play. Smyrna with a 13-12 lead. William Penn with the ball. Harding has it on the left wing. He gets it up top there to Carlos Dean. They work it underneath to Buck Bowling. He runs over Caleb Matthews. No call, and the basket's good.
Wow, just amazing move by Buck Bowling down low, zipping past Matthews. But, yeah, we get the calls a flop from the stands here. I don't disagree with that. I think Bowling left him in the dust with that little spin move. Buck Bowling has added so much. He's only averaging 8 a game, but he really has added some offensive moves to his repertoire this season.
4th lead change of the quarter. The home team Colonials with a 14-13 lead, and they're going to call a foul on Harding, and that seemed like a ticky-tack foul compared to the one we just saw that wasn't called.
I agree. That was a very ticky-tack call there. If you're Harding, you got to read the officials, and they've called a few ticky-tack calls and let some big contact go tonight. That's on the players. You've got to eventually read that situation and adjust accordingly.
Yeah, and and I say ticky-tack. It was a ticky-tack foul, but it was a foul.
It was a foul. Yes, it was.
As Garnett makes the first of 2 to tie this game up at 14-14. And like you said, it's more knowing not to try to make that steal
Yes.
at this point in the game. And the 6'5" senior made that mistake as Garnett gets ready to make his second. And in and out, no good. And so coming down with it for William Penn is Isaac Grady. We're tied up 14-14 just like we were at the end of the first quarter. We have just reached a 1-minute mark here in the first half. Jordan Harding has it. He's being guarded closely by Caleb Matthews, as he has been most of the night. He gets it over to Mangare. Mangare is being guarded by Bloodsworth. And Harding gets it back. 48 seconds left to play. I imagine Steve Christensen told him that he pretty much wants a layup or nothing else.
I agree.
Until we get underneath 5 seconds here as they have catch. Mangare's got it. And trying to get it to Harding. And Matthews almost picks it off. Caleb Matthew also has to be careful. He doesn't want to pick up a second cheap foul here. 30 seconds to play. And Steve Christensen is going to take a timeout. And it looks like it's going to be a 30-second timeout by William Penn. And while they're huddling, Marty, let's talk about the difference of the rest of this week between these two teams. William Penn, after tonight, they're basically done.
They are.
Probably for about 10 days before they're going to have to play in what it will probably be a first-round bye and then a second-round game. Smyrna, on the other hand, they've got to play Cape Henlopen on Thursday night, and if they win that game, they've got to play the winner of the Henlopen South on Friday. So quite a task ahead for Coach Andrew Mears.
It's going to be really interesting to see how Coach Mears handles that, too. I mean, tonight, you definitely want to get tonight's game for seeding purposes. Now, I believe that the next two games will not count towards the seeding purposes.
Absolutely nothing.
So I'm going to be curious to see if he decides, okay, let's start spreading out some minutes, not necessarily to people who don't play, but to maybe make sure we're getting guys in and we're fresh and ready to go for the tournament. So, yeah, it could be a 3 out of 4 games, a 3 games in 4 days situation for Smyrna.
Let me clarify myself. William Penn does play on Saturday against Mount Pleasant
in the Blue Hen Championship, correct.
But again, another meaningless game.
Yes.
The seedings will actually already be made by then. I've got my own opinions about these meaningless games heading into the tournament. We'll save that for the second half. 14 seconds left to play. A tie ball game, 14-14 here. William Penn hoping to close this out with a bucket. Harding fires from 3. No good. And coming down with the ball is Wilson, and he's going to try to go coast to coast. He dishes it out to Bloodsworth, who fires a 3 from the corner. No good. And that is going to bring us to the end of the first half here at William Penn High School. The score is the exact same as it was at the beginning of the game and at the end of the first quarter, and by that I mean we are tied 14-14 between these two top 5 teams. It's going to be one heck of a second half. We'll have it all for you here right on 302 Sports, and we're going to send it back to the commercial breaks, and then we'll be back as we get closer to the second half, and we'll recap this first half. Once again, you're watching the 302 Sports live stream. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. Your halftime score, William Penn 14, Smyrna 14. We'll be back.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust. Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust.
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource. Brian Hadley joined Patterson Schwartz & Associates in 2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website at the
Welcome to Hooters. Have a seat wherever you like.
Hooters of Newark is located at 136 Astro Shopping Center, Newark, Delaware. Come in day or night to watch your favorite teams and sports on our many TVs. It's a great, fun-filled environment that is kid-friendly. Our craveable food menu has all the appetizers, burgers, salads, tacos, seafood, you name it, as well as our world-famous Hooters wings, which are the official wings of 302sports.com. And began his career in home finance in 2002 as a mortgage consultant. Since 2002, Brian has helped over 1,000 home buyers achieve their dreams of owning a home. Brian's knowledge of current market conditions and his detailed evaluation of buyers' finances ensures that each buyer will receive the best mortgage to fit their needs. Brian is often commended on how efficient and effortless he makes the mortgage process for everyone from first-time home buyers to investors to experienced buyers.
Welcome back to William Penn High School. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on the 302 Sports live stream. The score is the same difference as it was when we started the game. It's now 14-14. It was 6-6 at the end of the first quarter here between the number 2 ranked Smyrna Eagles and the number 5 William Penn Colonials. Those rankings courtesy of Brad Myers of the News Journal. He's in the house tonight. Sean Green from WDEL is in the house tonight. We've got photographers from both of those media outlets, so you know it's a big game. I don't think there's a bigger game in the state, Marty. This is the final regular season game for both of these teams, and by that I mean where points are counted. William Penn is going to be in the Blue Hen Conference Championship game on Saturday against William Penn. That's at 5 o'clock at St. Mark's. Smyrna's got to face off against Cape Henlopen for the 3rd time this season because they split the regular season. Both ended up with only that one loss in the conference, so they've got to play against each other on Thursday. That game is at Milford at 7 o'clock. The winner of that game will play on Friday at Dover against either Lake Forest or Woodbridge. The Cape Henlopen South opponent yet to be determined. Let's look at the scoring for the Smyrna Eagles. Garnett led all scorers with 8 points, 4 for Nashawn Sylvester off the bench, and 2 for Caleb Matthews. So only 3 players in the box score for Smyrna. William Penn, on the other hand, had 5 different players score, led by Buck Bowling's 5. 4 points for Gerard Wall, making his first appearance in a game for the last couple of weeks. Coach's decision there. They're glad to have him back. He came in averaging 14.6 points a game. 2 points apiece for Jordan Harding and Israel Mangari, and 1 point, a foul free throw, obviously, early in the game for Carlos Dean. So when they come out here, it looks like it is going to be William Penn's ball to start the third quarter here, and a low-scoring game in the first half. Marty, what do you expect here in the second half?
You know, I think we're going to see a lot of the same in terms of defense. The question is going to be what guy on what team is going to take the ball and sort of take the bull by the horns here. I'm looking for Jordan Harding, William Penn, to try to get going, move some more into the lane. I'm looking for Smyrna to run some more picks, some more screens, to get Caleb Matthews loose. They started off really strong on the boards, did Smyrna. They really tailed off. William Penn dominated the boards in that second quarter, so I look to Smyrna rededicate to the boards.
So tied up 14-14 here. William Penn now moving right to left as we see it. They're in the all-white uniforms with the cherry red trim here. Driving in is Harding. He puts it up and is strong, and coming down with it is Beasley Johnson. Started the game but didn't last long, came up with 2 fouls, so he's going to have to watch himself early. Bloodsworth, Garnett, Matthews, and Wilson join him in the starters in the second half. Same starters as in the first half. A floater by Matthews is hard off the far side of the rim, and coming down with it for William Penn is Mangare. He is in along with Wall, Cochran, Harding, and Buck Bowling for the Colonials. They get underneath the Cochran in the low post. He's got Caleb Matthews one-on-one. Matthews with a great job defending there and rips the ball away on the rebound.
Matthews with a great job again of going straight up and down. Both teams have done such a good job defensively. This is what both teams, Smyrna scores a lot of points, but they play excellent defense. William Penn finally getting back to their good style of defense.
Bloodsworth drives by everybody, floats on up on the right side. No good, coming down in the hands of Harding, and William Penn's going to have it. Still scoreless here in the third quarter, 6:46 to play. 14-14. Driving in his Wall, and he puts one up with the right hand. Beasley Johnson comes down with the rebound and hands the ball off to Bloodsworth.
Well, that's a great job of getting in the lane. He was looking for the foul there. I thought it was a good no call. He kind of used his left hand to create some space for himself, but Wall's another guy. He's made an immense difference back in this lineup so far.
And so Smyrna has the ball, hoping to crack the scoring drought here in the third quarter as we approach the 6-minute mark. Neither team yet to score. Bloodsworth has it. He's being guarded closely by Mangari. Mangari didn't get the start because he was a junior. They had an all-senior starting lineup here on senior night. Floater by Bloodsworth is good.
That's a fantastic shot by Bloodsworth, and we saw him do that a number of times last year for St. Thomas More as he led them to the state semifinals. Did a really nice job. Checks into this Smyrna program, takes over the point guard duties, really opened up the offense for the Smyrna team.
So Smyrna with a 2-point lead, led by as many as 3 in the second quarter. 3-pointer by Buck Bowling, no good, and coming down with it is Garnett for Smyrna, telling the ref that he got banged on the chin there. On the way
yes,
down.
Yeah, everybody's looking for any call in the world right now with such a low-scoring game. They're looking for anything they can get.
And so Bloodsworth with the ball at the top of the key. If you're just tuning in, he, of course, is the transfer from St. Thomas More Academy down in Dover. and was a great addition for the Smyrna Eagles, if for no other reason, is that it gives Caleb Matthews an opportunity to play only the shooting guard. And you can see the value of Bloodsworth there as he drives down the lane, hands it off to Garnett, who scores his 10th point of the night to give Smyrna their largest point of the lead, their largest lead of the night, +4.
That's a great job by Bloodsworth. A little wraparound with the left hand to a wide open Garnett underneath for an easy two. The easiest two of the night, frankly, for Smyrna.
18-14 lead, under 5 to play here in the third quarter. Gerard Wall has it at the top of the key, tries to get a pick there from Bowling. Instead, they whip it over to Mangare. He gets it into the low post to Cochran. It looked like Cochran walked, but they're going to call a foul on Caleb Matthews. That'll be his second, team's first here in the second half. Yeah, that time Matthews kind of jutted out his knee a little bit to keep that initial move from being made. And Smyrna's checked into a 2-3 zone now to start this half. A little different. Now they're going right back. Oh, now they're going to stay in the 2-3 defense right now. A little different from the first half. An alley-oop again to Wall works. This time it was from Mangari. So twice that play has worked, both finishing in the hands of Gerard Wall, who has his 6th point of the night.
And that time Isaiah Wilson, who had Wall, was looking for some help down low, but the help defense never came to the weak side, so Wall wide open there, and his ups are just incredible.
And Caleb Matthews trying to work his way past Jordan Harding. Harding reached in and fouled him at half court. That's number 2 for Harding. The first for William Penn here in the second half. But again, one of those fouls that if you're Steve Christensen, you're questioning why you would waste a foul at half court.
No, you want Caleb Matthews out there. You certainly don't want to foul him while he's this far out from the basket.
And Bloodsworth works his way into the area between the top of the key and the foul line, about a 17-footer, nothing but the bottom of the net.
Bloodworth coming off his left hand. We see a lot more players now being able to come off that left hand. A lot of time in the gym to do that. Nice job by Bloodsworth.
And this time it's a three-pointer on the other end. Jordan Harding, his 5th point of the night. He's Penn's leading scorer, and he pulls the Colonials within 1, 20-19, 3:45 to play here in the third quarter.
And I think Jordan Harding's the one who's got to get them going offensively, so that was a great start for him. Let's see if that builds the confidence for this offensive team in William Penn.
He averages 16 points a game, held to just 5 so far, so I agree. If Penn's going to have a decent shot here, they've got to get him going. Matthews on the other end, short on a three-pointer. He seems to be off the mark tonight. Comes down into the hands of Harding. He gives it to Wall. Wall drives in, tries to dish it off underneath and out of bounds off of Mangari. They're going to say it's Smyrna ball.
And Wall is so good at that. One of the things they missed during his absence was his ability to penetrate into the lane and dish off to an open teammate, as the fans and Coach Christensen give the refs a little piece of their mind, as they all thought that was the incorrect call on the out of bounds.
Desmond Bagley checks in for William Penn. He'll replace Israel Mangare. For Smyrna, Nashawn Sylvester, who picked up 4 points late in the first half, checks in for Smyrna. Having a seat is Isaiah Wilson. Bloodsworth trying to penetrate. A nice tip away there by Bagley. He gets it into the hands of Buck Bowling, who drives right down the lane and scores.
Buck Bowling, a great job. The Smyrna defense thought he was going to dump the ball off to Desmond Bagley. Instead, he just goes up with a little finger roll. Buck Bowling with an easy 2 there.
And so William Penn with their first lead here in the second half, and going up strong with Garnett. It's blocked away by Gerard Wall, and on the other end, a laying in good by Cochran. He'll try to complete the old-fashioned 3.
You get the feeling that the confidence level from William Penn is really starting to peak now. They got the defensive play at the other end. You know, watching tape, I don't know that I've seen a guy with a better leaping ability than Gerard Wall, and when you don't have that in the lineup, it limits so much of what you can do on both ends. It takes away some shot blocking capabilities. Terran Cochran with the finish there, a great job. William Penn starting to get a little buzz going in this gym now.
And Cochran's free throw is up and good. So a 4-point lead by William Penn matches the most by either team. Both teams have led by 4 at one point. 2:33 to play. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on the 302 Sports live stream. Matthews had it. He's being guarded by Wall, and they're going to call a foul on the floor. And that foul is going to be against Wall. And for Wall, that is his 3rd.
You know what? That's a huge call, and that, to me, Caleb Matthews extended his left arm again. Caleb Matthews has gotten so good at doing that, and he masks it in such a way that it's hard for the referee to get a good read on it. He keeps it close to his body until the last second. So great job, Caleb Matthews, of taking advantage of that move, but he really does a nice job.
And a nice inbounds by Caleb Matthews underneath to Garnett, and Garnett goes up, and he is fouled, and it looks like that foul is going to be on Buck Bowling. That will be his second. Before that inbound, Eric Hicks checked in for Gerard Walls, who checks out with 3. My guess is we won't see Wall back in this third quarter, 2:25 to play, and his team up by 4.
No, I'm guessing unless Smyrna goes on a heck of a run, we're probably going to see Wall sit out, as you said. Now, because, Jameer Garnett has gone to the line for them a number of times tonight. He's only a 63% free throw shooter on the season. Beasley Johnson is the only worst shooter among the starting 5 for Smyrna. So if you're Jameer Garnett, you've got to take advantage of these situations.
And so Garnett is going to go to the line. His team trailing by 4 points, 2:25 to play here in the third quarter. The Smyrna Eagles ranked number 2 in the state behind only Cape Henlopen. First shot rattles in and is good. So the 11th point for Garnett, just 3 points shy of his season average.
Garnett's still, to me, the Swiss Army knife of this Smyrna team. He does everything well. He can dish off, he can rebound, he can post up, he can shoot the mid-range jumper, and he's getting better at free throws, though he did miss that last one.
And so it remains 24-21. William Penn with the lead and the ball. Cochran drives in. He's bumped by Garnett, and that's going to be on the floor as well, and that foul is going to be on Garnett, his second. So, they're calling those fouls, but they're doing it on both sides. Basically, if you get bumped driving laterally, not to the basket, but laterally, they're going to call the foul.
No, if you're cutting across the lane, they're calling that bump from the defense every time. You're right.
Bagley inbounds, and he gets it to Harding. Cochran has it on the right elbow. He drives in, swatted away by Beasley Johnson, but then put back up before Beasley Johnson can haul it down for Smyrna. He gets it outlet to Bloodsworth. Bloodsworth pulls up for a little right-handed floater. No good, but he comes down with it. Tries to kick it underneath, and it's going to be a backcourt violation as Garnett couldn't get control of the ball with one hand.
No, a little helter-skelter offense there from Smyrna. One thing I'll say just to watch later in the game, Beasley Johnson is really throwing those elbows every time he comes down with a rebound. If he connects, he could really hurt someone. It's something from a foul perspective we're going to have to keep an eye on.
Yeah, he picked up those 2 early fouls, has managed to play the whole 3-quarter and keep those 2 fouls. So there's that alley-oop attempt again. This time no good, as they were trying to get it to Buck Bowling. Harding was, and he got picked off. So instead it's going to be Matthews short on the 3-pointer from NBA range, top of the key. Garnett gets it, and he gives it off back to the driving Matthews. Matthews has the ball slapped away. He's looking for a foul. Instead, on the other end, William Penn's going to come away with it. 2 quick passes inside to Harding, goes up, misses, but he's going to head to the foul line for 2.
Again, not criticizing the referees, but there have been plays where we've seen NFL-style tackles not called, and then we get a ticky-tack end on this end on the foul call that Harding picks up. He'll go to the free throw line for 2. So, normally I think I don't want to give the refs too hard of a time, but we are seeing a few inconsistencies in some of the levels of contact that are being called.
Harding, the best free throw shooter on William Penn with an 84% average, misses the first. Garnett's going to check out. In for him is Wilson. Dean is going to check in for William Penn, and having a seat for William Penn is going to be Buck Bowling, as Jordan Harding is going to try to make his second shot. His team leads by 3. Second one is up and good. So 6 points on the night so far for Jordan Harding. It's 25-21, 4-point lead for William Penn. Neither team has led by more than 4 points. 1:18 to play here in the third quarter. Caleb Matthews being guarded closely by Bagley. They get it over to Wilson, the senior for Smyrna. Caleb Matthews has it now. He's trying to post up the smaller Bagley. Drives in. Shot is off the front of the rim. Bagley comes away with it. He wastes no time. Loses it off the back of his foot. Pulls it back out to Harding. Harding has it back over to Bagley. A quick inside pass to Dean. He dishes it back out to Bagley. He decides to pull it out. You can see Steve Christensen say, slow things down. 46 seconds left to play. William Penn with a 4-point lead, 25-21 here in the third quarter. We are at William Penn High School. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. You're watching a live stream broadcast by 302 Sport. Harding with a crossover dribble, got past Isaiah Wilson, but decided to pull it back out. We're at the 27-second mark here at the end of the third quarter. Harding with the same thing, and this time he baits Wilson into a foul, but it's going to be on the floor. And for Wilson, it's just his first foul. It'll be the team's 5th, so still not in the one-on-one.
No, Wilson, not the greatest of fouls, more because it gives them their 5th team foul, but it was pretty clear that William Penn was not going to attack the basket.
And a great inbounds. Dean puts it up, swatted away by Beasley Johnson, his 3rd or 4th block on the night. And with 18 seconds left, Smyrna's going to have an opportunity. Bloodsworth for 3 off the front of the rim, and a one-handed rebound by Cochran, Taryn Cochran. 8 seconds left to play. A near steal there by Sylvester, and that was a great play as Harding turned around to look at the scoreboard and wasn't paying attention to the ball, and a great play there by Sylvester.
That was a great job of Sylvester to take advantage of that. I thought he knocked it away, causing the ball to fall away. The referee said he did not. So when Harding touched the ball again, it resulted in a double dribble call. But you're right, heads-up play by Sylvester.
Mongari checks in for Hicks for William Penn. A give-and-go baseline to Matthews from Beasley Johnson. Gets knocked out of bounds before Matthews can get the shot up, and it's going to stay Smyrna ball underneath their own basket. 1.8 seconds left to play here in the 3rd quarter. So this could be a big shot here, and a little pushing and shoving inside, and there's going to be a double technical, which for Beasley Johnson is going to be his 3rd foul, and for Jordan Harding his 3rd as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna disagree with the refs there. That was 100% initiated by Beasley Johnson. He lowered his shoulder twice and banged into Harding. So I don't. If double technical is the call, I don't like it.
Well, I think that's what they're going to call because Harding came back in. Harding needs to walk away. If he walks away, it's not a double technical. But it's going to be a technical on Harding, which will give him his 3rd foul. And you can see Steve Christensen arguing, and the other foul is going to be on Beasley Johnson. And you can see Coach Mears is not arguing because it was right in front of him. But, again, that's a situation when Steve Christensen sees that on tape, it's a learning situation because if Harding walks away from that, it's only a foul on Beasley Johnson, which is his 3rd, and Harding remains with 2 fouls. So it will be a teachable moment for Coach Steve Christensen, and knowing him, it will be a lesson. Kayla Matthews getting ready to inbounds underneath. 1.8 seconds left to play. 25-21, and to try to lob it inside. They missed the lob, but ending up with it in his hands is Isaiah Wilson, who fires from just inside the 3. No good. And that is going to bring us to the end of the 3rd quarter here at William Penn High School. Your score, the William Penn Colonials 25, Smyrna 21. You're watching everything live right here on 302 Sports.
Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark, Delaware. Explore products and layouts with the area's top designers. Touch and feel products that inspire your dream space. Ferris Home Improvements' pride in the details make them the area's best in roofing, windows and doors, siding, decks, kitchens, and bathrooms. Want a professional, no-pressure remodel? Go see the best at the Big Shamrock on Kirkwood Highway. Ferris Home Improvements. Quality workmanship from a neighbor you can trust. Life's too short to hate your home. Remodel your home with the pros voted Delaware's #1 home improvement company. Ferris Home Improvements has something for every homeowner at their new showroom on the corner of Kirkwood Highway and Harmony Road in Newark.
Welcome back to William Penn High School. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on the 302 Sports live stream. William Penn with a 25-21 lead over Smyrna Eagles. They outscored Smyrna +4 in that 3rd period. Smyrna's going to start off with the ball. Jameer Garnett, the big 6'5 junior for Smyrna, is right in front of us, and he's going to give it to Bloodsworth, the transfer from St. Thomas More, as we get underway here in the 4th quarter. And we saw a little bit more scoring there, Marty, but we saw a lot of blocks and a lot of defense as well.
We did, yeah. The defense in this game has just been incredible. You know, I joked that Smyrna, Sally St. Mark's game has broken out here. The defense has just been incredible.
And Beasley Johnson has 3 fouls along with Harding, and driving in and scoring. That was Sylvester with his 6th point of the night. Comes in averaging just 4.7, so he gets Smyrna on the board first here. It's a 25-23 lead now for William Penn. Dean is in for them along with Cochran, and an errant pass by Dean there. Cochran runs it down, and it looks like they're going to call a foul They called a foul on Cochran.
Wow.
I don't think Cochran realizes that. Now he just did.
Wow. We've seen some interesting calls tonight. I thought 100% as well that was going to be called on Jameer Garnett. Cochran picks it up, and we've seen some interesting ones.
Missed
Let's
it.
say
I think
that.
they missed that one. We'll leave it at that. And so Smyrna's going to have the ball here, trying to tie this thing up or take a lead. Caleb Matthews, with just 2 points on the night, comes in with an average of 20.8. So an excellent job defensively. They get it underneath to Garnett. He lies it in. Garnett has lit it up. That is his 13th point of the night, just 1 point shy of his season average. And we are all tied up, 25-25 here as we approach the 6:55 mark here in the fourth quarter. Looking for the lob there that time, no good. Instead, Cochran's got it. He drives in and he gets knocked down. That one is going to be on Garnett, and Cochran is going to go and shoot two. So it's huge they didn't call that other one on Garnett, because that would have been the fourth. Now, of course, you could argue he may have played off of the Cochran in that situation. But either way, the third foul for Garnett is going to send Cochran, a 66% free throw shooter, to the line to shoot two.
And that was a very smart job by Cochran as he went in the lane. He never really got totally out of control. He only looked out of control after he took the bump from Jameer Garnett. So good job by Cochran of keeping his body under control as he went through the lane.
And if you're watching a live stream there, you see Principal Brian Erskine there mopping things up. So, those guys, they do everything here. We saw former coach Eric Jones, now an assistant principal here at William Penn, doing the same thing earlier. So a true team effort here. Big game. All the administrators are here. Of course, Sabrina Perry-Alice, the athletic director, does an exceptional job. We appreciate her hospitality. Whenever we come in, we get whatever we need. And so we appreciate, always enjoy coming to do games here at William Penn. And first shot for Cochran is up and good. And so 26-25, William Penn gets his first points of the night. Garnett's going to check out with those three fouls, and checking in for him is going to be Jakir Hampton. He made an appearance earlier in the game as well. So 26-25, William Penn with a 1 point lead here. Again, I talked to Coach Christensen earlier in the week, and he said that he thinks that they right now are the 6th seed as Cochran makes a second for a 2-point advantage for William Penn. He said he doesn't think a loss would necessarily change things because, again, remember, you're losing to the second team.
You're getting 2 bonus points,
You're getting
right.
2 bonus points. But the out-of-state games that they played, and they played at least one against Wildwood, they might have played one other, those points are not in yet. And so he wasn't exactly sure. Certainly a win would guarantee a first-round bye. Smyrna's going to have a first-round bye no matter what. Bloodsworth's three is way short and falls into the hands of Gerard Wall. He whips it ahead to Bagley, and a beautiful give to Harding for the deuce.
Desmond Bagley, a great job. Just a touch pass there to Harding for the easy 2 points. A great job of transition offense from William Penn.
Smyrna matches its largest lead of the night, 29-25, 6 to play here in the fourth quarter. Matthews with it again. Gerard Wall has done an exceptional job. Another NBA three-pointer is short, and it falls into the hands of Beasley Johnson. He misses the first go at it, comes down into his hands in a reverse layup, and he makes it. So Beasley Johnson, his first points of the night, is going to pull Smyrna within 2, 29-27, and Coach Mears is going to take a full timeout. And so, Marty, we talked about how this is the last regular season game for both of these teams. Smyrna's going to have at least one more game before the state tournament, possibly 2, as they have a play-in game to see who goes to the Henlopen Conference Championship against either Lake Forest or Woodbridge. And William Penn is in the conference championship game against Mount Pleasant on Saturday at 5 o'clock. Your thoughts on these conference championships games? I always go back and forth with, I'm not sure in the state of Delaware and the size that it is, because typically whoever wins those 2 conference championships has a legitimate shot to playing in at least the Final Four at the Bob Carpenter Center. And the way I look at it, and believe me, I love the competition, and I love the fact that there's going to be a couple more meaningful games, meaning good games, coming up here in the next few days. But the risk of injury to me, I would think would have to be on everybody's minds heading into that.
Yeah, I agree. Your little almost Freudian slip there with calling it a meaningful game, which of course they're not. That's my biggest problem with them is there's no great incentive. Of course, the kids want to be champions, but as a coach, you've got to weigh that against the fact that you may have some kids who are a little banged up. For Smyrna, if they beat Cape Penn on Thursday, which is totally up in the air, I mean, do you really want to risk 3 games in 4 days? You're going to get a few days off, but boy, these legs are getting tired at this point of the season.
29-27. William Penn's legs need to last another 5 minutes and 45 seconds here. They look for that alley-oop play to Wall. It's worked twice, didn't work that time. Underneath to him instead, and a quick turnaround jumper is off the front of the rim. But what hustle there by Desmond Bagley to run it down, but then he makes the mistake of dragging his foot. He knew it as soon as he did.
He did, and Bagley's really done a nice job in this second half. He's come up with some big rebounds, the really nice touch pass to Harding for the 2 points on one of their last possessions. So a kid, again, he was a freshman at Salesiana way back when. They've lost a couple good guards over the years, and they've really paid off at other programs.
And Bloodsworth with the ball moving left to right, circles in, up and under, and good. And that's an NBA-type move right there by Bloodsworth, picking up his 6th point of the night to tie this game up 29-29.
Bloodsworth doesn't do that often. When he does, it's so pretty, keeping his body under control and going up and under for the 2.
Under 5 minutes to play here. Tie ball game. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan on the 302 Sports live stream. They get it underneath to Harding. Great defense there by Beasley Johnson. Harding's not able to convert. And then a tie-up underneath. I'm not sure what they were waiting for.
I don't either.
It ended up being a jump ball, and it's going to stay William Penn ball.
And that time, boy, if you're Harding, you're kind of kicking yourself. He established great position inside the lane, about 2-3 feet away from the basket, turned around, just wasn't able to finish. Beasley Johnson, a great job of just going up straight vertical to play defense there and cause the miss.
More sweat clean up underneath.
Yes.
You know, it's very warm and humid in here. Of course,
is.
it was 70 degrees or something like that outside today. So just people not used to this warm weather. As William Penn gets ready to inbound it. Wall has it. A three-pointer from the left wing is long and ripping down the rebound. A great rebound there by Jakir Hampton, the junior. As Smyrna comes away with it, they work it ahead very quickly. They get it till Sylvester. Sylvester's got 6 points on the night. Trying to get Matthews started. Caleb Matthews still only has the 2 points, and he whips it across to the corner to Sylvester. Jumper is short and comes down in the hands of Cochran.
Well, you know, Caleb Matthews just dying to get involved offensively, but Wall has been all over him from start to finish.
Behind the back move, a beautiful pass underneath from Wall to Cochran, and Cochran can't convert, and it comes down into the hands of the Smyrna Eagles.
You know, I attribute that to Beasley Johnson with a couple block shots earlier. He was in such a hurry, Cochran was, to get that shot off. He rushed it, missed an easy one.
And so they're going to work the ball around here. Smyrna is a tie ball game. They give it to Matthews. He runs into the lane, dishes it out to Bloodsworth. No good, and coming down with the rebound is Buck Bowling.
Boy, some of these outside shots by Smyrna have been way off tonight, just very out of sync offensively, and that's almost, I'd say, 90% attributable to the way William Penn has played defense. They've just been phenomenal all night long in providing pressure on these Smyrna players.
And so a tie ball game here, 29-29, 3:38 to play in the game, and to give underneath before they call the foul before the give, and that foul is going to be on Sylvester. That will be his second, and the team's ninth, so that is going to send William Penn. I'm sorry, it's going to send Smyrna to the free throw line.
They sent William Penn to the free throw line for a one-on-one from this point
My
forward.
fault. You're right. I got distracted here.
Which again, with 3:36 going on now, we're now in a position where every foul forward for Smyrna will be a 2-shot foul for William Penn.
And the first shot is up and good by Gerard Wall, an 81% free throw shooter, and so that extends the lead. It should be a 1-point lead. Now, they haven't changed the scoreboard yet.
And the referees in an animated discussion here. Gerard Wall again, just a great addition again back to this team. He missed a few games. They now, looks like they're changing the foul call, or they're calling a foul inside, it looks like, on Buck Bowling.
Yeah, and so that's why I was confused, because, you know, they said number one originally.
Right.
But number one for Smyrna was not near the play.
Yeah, I don't know now if they've called the technical. They've cleared out the lane so that Gerard Wall will shoot in front of no one here. So I'm not sure if there was a technical called or not. Something has been called on Buck Bowling. We just don't know what it is.
Yeah. And the William Penn coaching staff has sat down, and the shot is good. Now, I don't know. I guess that was the technical foul, or was that the second? Yeah, we're still don't know.
Yeah,
and
we're
we
still
don't have an
right.
explanation. So we will move on. It is 31-29. Both of those shots were good. Why the second one was taken with no defense underneath, we're still not sure, because if it had been a technical, he should have had his second foul shot for making the first. So either way, 3:25 to play. William Penn, the home team, with a 2-point lead, 31-29. Sylvester has it on the left side. He gets it to Bloodsworth. Bloodsworth drives right down the lane, scoops it up. It's blocked away by William Penn, but then they throw the ball away, and going in was Sylvester, and he was fouled, and he's going to head to the foul line and shoot two, and that foul was on Cochran, which is at least Cochran's fourth foul, and it looks like that's going to be the case because Carlos Dean, is going to head in for Cochran as soon as Nishan Sylvester attempts this first of the
And that time, Nishan Sylvester really got away with one because he intercepted the pass, but then he ended up taking it against 4 William Penn players, probably better advised to take that out and reset the offense for Smyrna. Instead, he forces the issue and was lucky to get a foul called.
And the first shot is up and good, and Dean is going to check in as Sylvester makes the first. He's 3 for 3 on the night, 70% on the season, and it is now a 31-30 game. Wilson is going to check in for Smyrna, and he's going to spell Jakir Hampton. Coming up later tonight on 302 Sports, it's Padua and St. Elizabeth at 7:30. Be sure to tune in for that one. Should be a good Catholic Conference game as the second foul shot by Sylvester is up and good. He now has 8 points on the night, and we are once again tied 31-31 with 3:06 to play, and a timeout taken by Coach Steve Christensen. Hasn't been signaled yet whether it's a full or a 30-second timeout. It is a full timeout, so he's got 2 remaining, a 60 and a 30. Coach Andrew Mears has 3 fulls and a 30, according to my unofficial stats. Don't forget to tune in on Friday night at 6 o'clock. 302 Sports Live is going to be covering the girls and the boys Henlopen Championships, and then on Saturday they're also going to be covering the Blue Hen Championship. The girls play at 1, the boys play at 5, and I do know the boys game is going to be this William Penn team against Mount Pleasant, a team that we broadcast earlier this year, another team that's playing without their star player, Kayvon Kramer. But you know, in talking with Lisa Sullivan, not only a head coach but a friend of mine, so I get to talk to her a lot, sometimes on the record, sometimes off the record. But she likes where her team is at right now. And, Marty, that's a team, as well coached as they are and as athletic as they are, is not a team I would want to draw in the first round. In fact, if you gave me, it said you can pick 3 teams that you don't want to face, they'd probably be my first choice.
No, I agree. Mount Pleasant, you could throw St. George's into that as well because of some recent losses. They're going to be a team. Somebody's going to get Bones Highland in the first round and go mad and trying to figure out how to defend him. Yes.
Right.
So, but I would agree. Mount Pleasant, another one of those teams. They play really good defense. They play fundamentally sound. So this year, I mean, the Henlopen North has just been so dominant this year. It's incredible. So these seedings, when it comes out, and we see the quarterfinal, semifinal matchups that are going to be potentially there. It'd be really interesting.
Top 3 teams in the state in Brad Meyer's News Journal top 10, all from the Henlopen North Conference. As Walls drives in for William Penn. We got a tie game, 31-31. We are now under 3 minutes to play here in the fourth quarter. A possible first-round bye on the line for William Penn. For Smyrna, they are guaranteed a first-round bye. Another swat away by Veasley Johnson, but the lay-in by Buck Bowling off the rebound is good for Bowling. That's 9 on the night. William Penn with a 33-31 lead, 2:35 to play.
Buck Bowling, a great job there. He didn't run back defensively. Waited to see how that was going to come off the rim. Came right to him in the middle of the lane and puts it down. 33-31.
Caleb Matthews, that's the story of the night either way, because he's been held to just 3 points. Came into the game averaging 20.8. And Veasley Johnson gets it to Bloodsworth. Bloodsworth floats it up, and they're going to call a foul. And I believe that's going to be on Desmond Bagley. It is. It'll be his third, and it will send Bloodsworth to the line to shoot 2.
And Bloodsworth does a really nice job of creating contact for himself, getting himself to the free throw line. It's something he did a lot for St. Thomas More last year. It's something he's become even more adept at doing here for Smyrna. He may not fill up the score sheet all the time, though. He is averaging 15 points a game, which is second to Matthews on this team, but he does a really nice job getting himself to the line.
And he makes the first to make it a 1-point game. It's his first foul shot of the night. So.
And he is an 86% free throw shooter on the year. They have two. He and Caleb Matthews, one of the best 1-2 punches in the state.
And
of course, I jinxed him.
And he misses the second. So William Penn's going to maintain its 1-point lead at the 2-minute mark here, 33-32. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. You're watching the 302 Sports live stream, the last regular season game that counts toward playoff points for both of these teams. It doesn't get any better than this. Number 2, Smyrna. Number 5, William Penn. Two of the best teams in the state. A lot of people think they will make it to the Bob Carpenter Center and possibly even to the Final Four.
It's going to be interesting, I was going to say, to see how long Smyrna lets this go. Colonials were, with a 1-point leader, just satisfied to hold it out there, runs the clock down. Finally, Coach Christensen calls a timeout just to make sure they're all on the same page for this last 1:43.
And now he takes that timeout, his 32nd timeout. So according to my stats, he only has one remaining. And so with that 1-point lead, that comes into play a couple different situations. If you're in an inbound situation.
Yes.
Or if you're out here and you're getting ready to have a held ball, do you
double-teamed
take it? Double-teamed, and so that really could come into play here with that 1-point lead. Your foul situation, both teams have 8 personal fouls, so both are in the 1-on-1, but neither is in the double bonus yet. And so coming out of the timeout, William Penn is going to inbounds right in front of us here at the broadcast table. We're right at midcourt. Another thing we love about being at William Penn, we're always at
great viewpoint here.
And so Desmond Bagley is going to inbound the ball, and it looks like they're going to try to get it into the backcourt, and they do, to Gerard Wall. He's an 81% free throw shooter. Now, he does lead the team in turnover, so it's kind of a mixed bag. There's a good and bad to have the ball in his hand. He gets it over to Buck Bowling. Bowling's a 52% free throw shooter. So if you're going to foul somebody, that might be the one you want to foul. And that looks like it's exactly what Caleb Matthews is trying to do. He gets it away and gets it over to Wall. They're trying to double-team Wall. William Penn is content not to shoot, and the ball is thrown away. Goes right between the legs, but then Garnett gets it, and it falls or rolls off his fingers right in front of us. So they did it perfectly up until the very end.
That's exactly it. They did, and they did just what we talked about, the timeout situation. They forced a double team at half court. William Penn wasn't able to navigate. They lost the ball, and Garnett just not able to corral it before it went out of bounds right in front of our broadcast table.
William Penn, a 1-point lead, 33-32, 1:14 to play. Bagley's going to inbound for the Colonials right in front of us. They get it to Harding. He's being guarded by Matthews, and intentional or not, Matthews fouls Harding. He's going to head for a 1-on-1.
And, John, I'm going to go back to something you said, and I agree with it 100%. I don't understand why they didn't give the foul earlier. Buck Bowling, as you said, is, he's not a terrible free throw shooter, but he's only around 50%. And it looked like, and you said it, Caleb Matthews, kind of the light bulb went off in his head. This is the guy we need to foul. He never actually followed through on it, and they send a very good free throw shooter in Harding to the line.
And Harding makes the first. He's 1 of 2 before that, so now he's 2 of 3. His 9th point on the night gives William Penn a 2-point lead, 34-32. This one would be big because a 3-pointer would only tie it up. Shot is up, rattles around, and is good. So the senior leading scorer for William Penn gives his team a 3-point lead. Bloodsworth with the ball, 1:05 to play here in the fourth quarter. Matthews being guarded by Wall. He drives, he gets cut off, he whips it around. They've got Sylvester in the left corner for a 3, nothing but net.
Sylvester is one of the guys on the team that you least expect to hurt you. William Penn let him go free on the weak side beyond the 3-point arc, and he buries the shot. A lot of confidence by this Smyrna team.
Sylvester, only a sophomore, has now doubled his season total average. He's got 11 points, 37 seconds left to play. We could be looking at overtime here, Marty. 35-35, and Steve Christensen is going to take what I believe is his last timeout. Again, that's unofficial, but very well could be his last timeout. And you know what? You don't want to save it for an overtime that may never happen.
And you know what? I love the play. William Penn, you could argue that maybe they should have had someone on the weak side waiting, but if I'm Coach Christensen, I'm putting all my chips in on stopping Caleb Matthews, Jameer Garnett, Bloodsworth on this side. You allow that skip pass. And by the way, Caleb Matthews is one of the best in the business at that skip pass. He hits the offensive player down low, and just a fantastic job of knocking that shot down. Again, Nishan is not someone, Sylvester, that you're expecting to beat you, but a lot of confidence by the Smyrna team and him. As you said, only a sophomore. And by the way, this increases somebody's confidence going into a state tournament situation. So all in all, a win-win there for Smyrna for involving him. And as you said, his career high.
Yeah, career high. Came in averaging 4.7 points a game, and he's got 11 on the night here. He hit 4 big points in the second quarter when Smyrna was struggling to score, and it kind of kept them in it, kept them to that 14-14 tie. It was 6-6 at the end of the first period, 14-14 at the end of the half. William Penn took a 4-point advantage, 25-21 at the end of the third quarter. Neither team has led by more than 4 points. And inbounding the ball for William Penn is going to be Desmond Bagley, the 5'10 junior. Didn't get the start tonight because it's senior night, but he's been on this floor in pressure situations before. Gerard Wall, same situation. The senior got a start tonight after missing a few games for disciplinary reason. They've got the ball in his hand, and they're content to let this clock run down and take a last-second shot, it seems, that's either going to win it or send it into overtime. They work it around. Dean gets it back to Gerard Wall. 15 seconds left to play. Harding has it in his hands, the leading scorer on the team. He kicks it over into the corner to Bagley. Bagley, a floater off the glass, short. Beasley Johnson skies for it. Jameer Garnett, not sure of the time of the clock, throws it the length of the floor, which leaves 1.7 seconds left. And they're saying that the ball is inbounded underneath the defensive basket of William Penn, so they're going to have to throw it the entire length of the
floor. I don't get that approach by William Penn there at the end. I thought they waited 10 seconds too long before they started. Bagley ends up throwing up a no-prayer shot.
And there's a no-prayer shot there by Buck Bowling. Did all he could do. He caught the pass and got it away, no good. And that is going to bring us to the end of regulation with the score tied 35-35. We'll be right back here with the overtime from William Penn High School. Smyrna 35, William Penn 35. Welcome back to William Penn High School. It doesn't get any better than this to end the regular season. It's a 35-35 tie heading into a 4-minute overtime here at William Penn. And there's some discussion at the table right now about whose ball it is, and the bottom line is that they jump ball, and that's how you start the overtimes here. So a little confusion. You know, a lot of these teams don't play overtime during the regular season, and they forget what the rules are.
If you're Coach Andrew Mears, you couldn't want anything less than going to overtime in a week where you may end up playing 3 games in 4 days.
So here we go. Tipping it off will be Beasley Johnson. And I'm shielded by the referee right now. That's Buck Bowling who went up, and it's won by Beasley Johnson. And Bloodsworth is on the floor along with Matthews, Garnett, and the sophomore, Nashawn Sylvester, who hit the big 3 to tie this game up. Caleb Matthews held to just 3 points, drives in, and looking for a foul there, doesn't get it. Stripped away by William Penn. Harding's got it. He's on the floor with Wall, Buck Bowling, Carlos Dean, and Bagley. They get it over to Bowling. He drives in, and they're going to call a push. And both teams will be in the double. Actually, it'll be a double bonus shot for William Penn. They've still got 1 to go. So it's a 1-and-1. It's a 2 shots for William Penn. Yes. It's a 1-and-1 for Smyrna for 1 more possession. Did you see who that foul was on?
I did not see who the foul call was on. I want to go back to this other end for 1 minute. Caleb Matthews with a great left-handed drive on the baseline, stripped by Wall. A phenomenal defensive play by Jared Wall, who has done that all night as Buck Bowling knocks down his first free throw.
First shot is up and good for Buck Bowling, and so that gives William Penn a 1-point lead 36-35. And if you're Coach Christensen, you don't care how you get 2 points. You
Not
just
at
want
all.
2 points on every possession in overtime. Second shot is up and good. So Bowling hits them both. He's got 11 on the night. And William Penn with a 37-35 lead. 3:25 to play. Again, it's a 4-minute overtime. Each team gets an additional timeout. I believe Smyrna has one left over heading into the overtime as well. So they've got 2 unofficially. William Penn used all of their timeouts, so they get the 1 additional timeout. Bloodsworth has the ball. Coming out on him is Harding. Caleb Matthews has it. Takes 1 dribble in front of the 3-point arc and decides to kick back out to Bloodsworth. A nice spin move. They get it over to the left side till Sylvester, and Garnett has it at the top. They're trying to get it underneath to Beasley Johnson. Instead, Garnett's going to drive and lay it in.
Garnett, a beautiful job. Took matters into his own hands there. Just, again, phenomenal lateral movement defensively by William Penn. Just a nice move there. A great, quick first step by Jameer Garnett. Comes up with the layup.
37-37, 2:38 to play. William Penn is a very methodical team in a lot of situations this year. And it looks like Steve Christensen is content to let Smyrna force them to play. And who knows, he may hold it for the last shot again.
That's right. You know, William Penn's one of those teams that has the capability of playing amazingly fast transition basketball. They're also just as adept as playing this way, which makes them one of the more dangerous teams in the state.
Yeah, again, William Penn playing for a possible first-round bye. They're in the state tournament for sure. Smyrna really not playing for anything other than what seed 1 through 8 they are. They're going to have a first-round bye no matter what. 2:02 to play, 37-37. Hardy's got it. Caleb Matthew has drawn that assignment in the man-to-man defense. He lobs it over to Gerard Wall. Sylvester poking at it. They want him to take a foul there. Andrew Mears doesn't want that. That's for sure. Harding's got it. He drives right by Caleb Matthews, but again decides to pull it out and create that separation. Caleb Matthews almost strips him from behind. Instead, Harding is able to hang on to it and get it to Bowling. Bowling drives in. He's got no choice but to shoot that. Misses, grabs his own rebound, and a smart move to pull it back out. So a great heady play by Buck Bowling, the 6'4 junior, not to try to force another layup that would have been very tough to make unless he was fouled.
I agree. That would have been a very tough shot. He was kind of stuck in no man's land under the basket, so very, very smart play by Bowling to bring that ball out.
All right, Steve Christensen has taken what I believe is his only timeout here in the overtime with the game tied 37-37. His team is going to be inbounding the ball basically right in front of the coach's box of William Penn. 1:20 to play here. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. The last regular season game for both these teams. Smyrna comes in with a 17-2 record. Their only loss to Cape Henlopen, surprisingly, at Smyrna. And then Roselle Catholic in the slam dunk to the beach. I looked up, and in the USA Today, Roselle Catholic is the number 18th team in the country. William Penn, 15-4 is their record this year. Probably the most shocking loss was that lopsided blowout against Howard in their last game.
And that was the last game without Gerard Wall. Again, he had so much on both ends of the floor, especially, in my opinion, on the defensive end. He just ratchets up the intensity that much more. And, you know, the interesting thing about that Smyrna Cape, that rubber match they're going to be playing on Thursday, is that both teams really took it to the other team on the other's home floor. Smyrna really took it to Cape there, and then Cape just absolutely demolished Smyrna at Smyrna. So it'd be interesting to see what they do at Milford on neutral court.
At Milford, you know, which is a very nice gymnasium. I read somewhere that each school gets 400 tickets. So they are going to limit the crowd.
That's going to go quick.
It's going to go quick, and there'll probably be 200 additional tickets for family, whatever, however they work that out. But it's going to be a beautiful atmosphere. And now Andrew Mears has decided to take a timeout as well. Now that he saw William Penn come out. He really didn't see William Penn get set up.
I was surprised by that too. Yeah, I guess
more the personnel.
That's probably it. Yeah, he really didn't allow anybody to get set up enough where he could use that in a strategy session there. But you're right. That was probably just as much about seeing who William Penn was putting out on the floor. And, you know, no matter how this plays out, what a phenomenal game this has been on both sides, especially defensively. I love this type of basketball.
All right, 302 Sports broadcast coming up tonight at 7:30. It's Padua and St. Elizabeth. And then on Friday, it all starts out at 2 o'clock with the first ever DIAA boys and girls basketball. It's not a selection show, but that's what you can assimilate.
The bracket reveal,
bracket reveal. They're going to announce this, who's playing where and at what seedings, and it's going to be streamed live on 302 Sports. And then at 4 o'clock, 302 Sports has generously donated the broadcast of the Special Olympics DIAA Unified Basketball Showcase games at 4, 5:30, and 7 can be seen on 302 Sports. And at the same time, on their other 302 Sports channel, they'll be broadcasting the girls and boys Henlopen Championships, and Smyrna's hoping to be one of the teams in that.
So if we go past 7:30, will Padua St. Elizabeth be available on ESPN 8, the Ocho? Is that what we're is that where we're going to see that game?
Program update.
That's right.
The bottom. All right, William Penn ball, 1:20 to play, and wow, they get it into Gerard Wall. Nobody expected the ball to be inbound.
No, they didn't,
including Coach Steve Christensen. I get the sense looking at his reaction, but it's in either way. And Desmond Bagley, the 5'10 junior, has it. He gives it off to Gerard Wall, who goes behind the back to avoid the steal. Caleb Matthews is calling for a trap here. And you have to wonder if Andrew Mears, you can see Andrew Mears is upset that they didn't do what they were supposed to do. And driving in, his bowling almost dragged his foot there. Three-pointer from the left corner is no good. Beasley Johnson rips it down. 48 seconds left to play. And so now it's going to be Smyrna's opportunity to hold for the last shot. We'll see what Coach Mears decides to do. I'm pretty sure he has at least one, if not 2 timeouts left. I believe William Penn is out of timeouts. And if you're Coach Mears, Marty, at this point you certainly want to win the game because you want to win the game, but you also want to win the game to save your legs for the 2 other games, or at least 1, maybe 2 games you're going to have this week.
I agree. Just as important. If I'm Coach Mears, I want to get the ball into Jameer Garnett's hands and let him drive.
Yep. Or post him up and let him try to turn around and force the refs to call a foul. Bloodsworth has it. He can't penetrate. He gets it back to Garnett, but there's only 7 seconds left to play. Bloodsworth now is a nice give and go. Garnett fumbles it, puts it up, and is blocked by Buck Bowling into the hands of Beasley Johnson off the front of the rim. No good. And we're going to a second overtime here at William Penn High School. So the teams will huddle back up, and when we come back, only 2 points were scored by each team. There'll be a fresh 4 minutes on the clock, and we'll head to a second overtime. William Penn 37, Smyrna 37 here on 302 Sports. Welcome back to William Penn High School. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan here on the 302 Sports live stream. We're heading to a second overtime. It is 37-37 between the second-ranked Smyrna Eagles and the number 5 William Penn Colonials here. And both teams had a shot to win. Buck Bowling missed a close, I think it was Buck Bowling.
Yes, it was.
Close-in shot down the lane. And then on the other end, with about 40 seconds left, Smyrna held for a final shot. And there was a nice dish underneath from Bloodsworth to Garnett. And Garnett fumbled it just long enough to allow the defense to get over, and the ball rolled out of bounds. And that brings us to this second overtime here at William Penn High School. None of the crowd has left. In fact, you can see it kind of looks like more people have come in.
It does, yeah. We have them lining the walls now.
Yeah, I know my wife and son arrived halfway through the third quarter, and my first thought is, why did you bother come?
Yeah.
And now I know why, because it was about an hour ago. So Smyrna with the ball. Caleb Matthews, that's the big story for the Smyrna Eagles. He has been held to just 2 points tonight and has struggled from the three-point line in large part due to the defense. He gets it underneath to Beasley Johnson, who converts. So a nice look underneath from Bloodsworth to Beasley Johnson.
A beautiful look and a great job by Beasley Johnson. He went under the basket, used the rim as kind of a natural shot block protector as the William Penn defense went up to get that shot. So great job, great heads-up play by Beasley Johnson, a great look by Bloodsworth.
And so Smyrna with its first lead in a while since early in the fourth quarter. Jumper by Gerard Wall, a three-pointer gives William Penn the lead.
And his legs look so fresh, and I have no idea how. He has hounded Caleb Matthews all night long and still looks like he could go another 40 minutes.
And he's got to go at least 2:53. That's what we're at here in the second overtime. 40-39, William Penn with a 1-point lead. A win by William Penn guarantees them a first-round bye. A loss doesn't mean it doesn't happen. It just makes it more of a numbers game at that point. Caleb Matthews has the ball, being guarded still by Gerard Wall. They work it around, and they get it to Veasley Johnson. It's the top of the key. He gets it over to Caleb Matthews, and he just took his eye off the pass and fell out of bounds. A mistake you probably haven't seen all season.
No, and you know, Caleb Matthews saw daylight for one split second. He took his eye off the ball. He was starting to go before he caught the pass, and it cost them a turnover.
And so here we are. We're back at that spot where Steve Christensen likes to just hold the ball and force Smyrna to try to make the foul. And Christensen's going to take the additional timeout he received here in the second overtime, and it will be a full timeout. So 40-39, 2:13 to play. We're going to leave it right here. William Penn with a 1-point lead here on their home court. Nobody has left. As I mentioned, the gym seems actually more crowded, which some people say, well, that can't be. Well, but it can because, you know, teams have come back. They've stopped practicing here at Penn. There's clubs going on or whatever, and word starts getting around about the type of game you have. And remember, a lot of these kids who go to school here live in the neighborhoods across the street.
That's right.
They're following social media and, you know, hey, let's go to the game.
And, you know, tomorrow there will have been 5,000 people at this game on social media. Oh, my God, I was there. You wouldn't believe how good this thing was.
That's right. All right, if you're just tuning in again, maybe you've heard about it and you decided to tune in. It's 40-39, William Penn with a 1-point lead. And the ball after the turnover fell off of Caleb Matthews' hands out of bounds. And so Steve Christensen in these situations, he likes to hold on to the ball and force the other team to make a decision of how they're going to play. And so obviously at one point, Coach Andrew Mears is going to have to decide to force them to either turn the ball over or to commit a foul. And again, if you're him, you probably want to try to foul Buck Bowling, who is a 52% free throw shooter for William Penn. He is on the floor along with Bagley and Harding, Gerard Wall, and it looks like Dean Carlos on the floor as well, who's a 47% free throw shooter. So you got two guys who shoot right around 50% that if they get the ball, that's who you want to foul. Gerard Wall has it. He gets it over to Bagley. They get it out to Bowling. Now, if they were going to foul, now Andrew Mears just called for him to come out and cover him. And whether that's cover to steal or cover to foul, we'll see. They let Bowling get rid of it. It's back over to Gerard Wall, the senior. He's being covered guardedly by the sophomore, Nashawn Sylvester, who's had, if not a career game, certainly one of the best games of the season. And he commits the foul. That will be his third foul. And they are in the double bonus. So going to shoot two shots is going to be Buck Bowling. And that is 5 fouls, it looks like, on the Sean Sylvester. So that must have been one of the ones.
And Gerard Wall actually going to the line here, who's one of the best free throw shooters on this William Penn team. Yeah, it's going to come down to, I'm kind of surprised that Coach Christensen called that timeout when he did with so much time left in this overtime. He must wanted to make sure the plan, I'm guessing, was to hold this ball as long as possible, force Smyrna into a foul situation. They came out and they eventually got Wall.
And the first shot by Wall, as you said, Marty, an 81% free throw shooter, is good. And so that extends the lead to 2. 41-39, second shot is up and good as well. So a 3-point ball game here, 42-39, 1:40 to play. Smyrna with the ball. Bloodsworth has it. He gets it over to Caleb Matthews. He tries to get it over. He does get it over to Garnett. And then a turnover by Garnett. And Gerard Wall has it. And two-hand attempted dunk comes out. And Smyrna has life with 1:22 to play. Bloodsworth underneath to Veasley Johnson and scores. So just like that, what a turn of events on the missed dunk there. And instead of it being a 5-point lead, it is now back to a 1-point lead, 42-41, and a timeout taken.
And Wall is absolutely stunned. Yeah. I cannot believe he missed that dunk. A wide-open two-handed dunk. He actually had a teammate, I missed who it was, cutting down the right side of the lane who was also wide open. Wall actually had a trailer, but he decided to go up, and let's face it, that's an easy shot that he's made 100 times. It's a two-handed dunk. It's not like he tried to get fancy with it and just right off the back of the rim.
And coming into the season, certainly he was the superstar of the team.
Yes.
He's the one when we contacted the school, they decided to put him on our schedule poster.
Amazing athlete.
Amazing athlete. He may not have the only stat he leads the team in is turnover.
Yes.
But that's because he's on the floor so much and he has the ball in his hands so much and he's such an unselfish player.
That's it. He has the ball more than anybody else. You're exactly right. That's why he leads in turnovers. They trust him that much.
And so nobody's going to question what he should have done with that ball. You have a chance to put away a game with a dunk at home
with your best offense.
With your best offensive player in a game.
I agree 100%.
In a game that means a lot, but let's face it, it doesn't mean a whole lot. And so,
don't tell these 10 guys on the court that, right?
and to them it means everything, and that's why Wall tried the two-handed dunk instead of doing what probably some people would say, well, you should have just pulled it out. Well, you don't give up a 99% guaranteed dunk.
I agree with you 100%. That's such a high percentage shot. It doesn't get any more high percentage than that.
Unfortunately for him, it was the 1% that happened.
That's right. That's right.
But William Penn still has the lead, 42-41. Harding's got it. We're approaching the 1 minute mark here. And Smyrna's in a similar situation where they're going to have to foul if the right person has the ball. And the right person has the ball, and that's who they foul is Buck Bowling. And it's on the floor, but they're into double bonus because he's going to get 2 shots. So I think you've accomplished exactly what Coach Mears wanted.
I do too. The only thing I'd be concerned about if I were Coach Mears is Veasley Johnson almost let that go to the point where he could have created an and one situation. If you're going to foul Bowling, get out there and foul him. I agree. He's the guy you want to put on the line out there other than Dean maybe, Carlos Dean, the 6'1 senior. But, yeah, Buck Bowling, who actually has hit his last two, but for the season is only right around 52%. So a good percentage play by Smyrna.
Yeah, he's 2 for 2. He hit the 2 in the first overtime. We're here in the second overtime. William Penn with a 42-41 lead. 1:02 to play. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. First shot is good and nothing but the bottom of the net. So back to a 2-point lead for William Penn, 43-41. This is a big shot because it means that even if for some reason Caleb Matthew hits his first 3 of the day or Sylvester hits another big 3, it's still only a tie game.
Huge shot, you're right.
Second shot is up and off the front of the rim, no good. So it's going to stay a 2-point game. Veasley Johnson secures the rebound. For Smyrna, hands it off to Bloodsworth. 55 seconds left to play. They get the ball to their leading scorer, Caleb Matthews, held to just 2 points today by the excellent defense by Gerard Wall. Bloodsworth has it back. He was looking for the pick. Instead, Garnett goes and picks for Matthews. They're going to try to get it in the low post, but they're able to push him out. A nice job on defense by Carlos, and they're going to call the foul, and Garnett's going to go to the line and shoot 2. It'll be Dean Carlos's first foul, the 9th foul against William Penn. So from here on out, both teams are in the double bonus.
And I don't dislike that foul by Dean at all. Garnett is such a strong kid. He forces his way back in when he posts up, and that time Dean just did not let him do it, did not let him have an easy shot at the basket.
Yeah, and he made sure it wasn't going to be a +1 situation.
Yes, he did.
Garnett, a good an average free throw shooter, 63%, makes his first. On the game tonight, he's made 5 out of what looks like 10 free throws, so a little bit below his season average from the charity stripe. Second shot is up and
that's
good.
Clutch.
Looks like a good free throw shooter there.
Yes,
43, 39 seconds left to play. William Penn has the ball. I don't believe Coach Christensen has any timeouts left, and so normally he would call a timeout here. Smyrna goes for the double trap. They kick it over. He actually did have a timeout left, but he just took it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I actually thought they had exhausted their limit of timeouts. They obviously had one left, and that's a great timeout because the only thing, if you're Coach Christensen, you would have told your kids is don't get into a double team situation, and for some reason they decided to set up along the left baseline here and got themselves into 2 double team situations very quickly.
Yeah, and so 26 seconds left to play here at William Penn. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. We are in the second overtime. It is 43-43. What a tremendous game, and it has been the whole game. Neither team has held more than a 4-point lead. We were tied up just 6-6 at the end of the first quarter. Then it was 14-14 at the half, 25-21 in favor of William Penn at the end of the third quarter. They led most of the game until a late three-pointer by Nashawn Sylvester tied things up at 35-35, and that's when we went into the first overtime. Just 2 points scored by both teams, so that ended 37-37. Both teams had potential layups that were missed. One was a layup that was missed. The other one was juggled before he really got a clean look and that was Garnett at the other end. And so that ended at 37-37. And so we stand 43-43, 26 seconds left. I'm fairly confident William Penn has 0 times left. Timeouts
I would
left.
agree with you now 100%.
I believe Mears has at least one more. And so Bagley is going to inbound it just to the left of us. He's on the floor with Dean and Wall, and they quickly get it into him off the pick by Harding. And Buck Bowling is also in the game. Wilson's in for Smyrna along with Beasley Johnson, Garnett, Caleb Matthews, and underneath is Greg Bloodsworth. He's kind of hanging off of Bagley in the corner. 8 seconds left to play. Harding has the leading scorer. He drives in, floats one up, and it's good! It's good! With 1.1 seconds left to play, a huge shot by the leading scorer, Jordan Harding, his first 2 points of the overtime, but you're not going to score 2 bigger points here tonight.
No, you're not. And it's interesting, right before we get into that, Andrew Mears is arguing that he called the timeout immediately after the shot went through, and he's saying there should be 3 seconds on the clock. They've now amended it from 1.1 to 2.5, but a great job by Harding. He came so close to walking there. He got himself into an awkward position. Looked like he was trying to dump it off, and then at the last second realized he had no one to dump it off to, decided to steal himself a little bit, goes up for the shot off balance, and nothing but net. A beautiful job by, as you said, the leading scorer on this team throughout the season. He comes up huge right there.
And so they have put some time back on the clock, as you said, Marty, 2.5 seconds. Now they're going to have to throw it the length of the floor and get a shot off. So you're pretty much looking at a catch-and-shoot situation, maybe depending on where you get it, a catch and one dribble. Now, the good thing for Smyrna is they've got arguably one of the top 3 3-point shooters in the state, along with Nashawn Highland. I don't know who the third might be. Maybe you have an idea. But my point is he can legitimately take a under-control, targeted shot from about 7 feet beyond the 3-point line.
You know what else they could do here? And if Andrew Mears does have 1 timeout left, you could always make the play of trying to hit someone at half court, calling the timeout. That way allows you to set up a play where you have a bigger percentage chance of getting someone open in the area of the 3-point line. Now, of course, again, that's dependent on whether he has a timeout remaining.
Now, I was going to say these teams practice this all the time.
Yes.
The advantage Smyrna has is that William Penn probably hasn't seen it on tape.
No,
because
you're right.
They probably haven't had to run a play, or if they have, they've probably got 2 plays in their pocket. And as Andrew Mears has taken a timeout here, a second timeout, a full timeout this time, so he's going to use his timeouts. No sense to save him to possibly be on the bus here in the next few minutes. So if for some reason you're just tuning in, we're here at William Penn High School. John Busby along with Marty Sheehan. William Penn took a 45-43 lead with 2.5 seconds left on a beautiful runner from the left side by Jordan Harding. And I use the term beautiful. Maybe that's not the exact term to describe it. It was kind of off balance, hoping to hear a whistle blow that would mean a foul.
Yes, exactly.
And when he didn't hear that, he realized, geez, I better at least get a shot up because time is running out. They didn't have time to pass.
No, they didn't.
At that point.
And just a beautiful touch at the very end there, and really nothing but net. So just a great job, as you said, off balance a little bit, but he recovered just in time enough to put a short arm it or go a little too hard. Perfect.
And you're at home, which makes the pressure even greater.
Absolutely.
So here we go. 2.5 seconds left to play. William Penn on defense with a 2-point lead. Jameer Garnett is going to inbound. Here we go. He's going to try to throw it the length of the floor, and Buck Bowling comes down with it, and that is going to do it. In 2 overtimes, the William Penn Colonials win it 45-43. And some fans are wandering on, but the William Penn faculty, Coach Marvin Dooley, the football coach, is out here providing some crowd control, and a nice job not only by the administration here, but also by the William Penn fans.
Absolutely, I agree.
The court. Marty, a 45-43 win for William Penn against Smyrna here in a non-conference game between 2 top 5 teams in the state of Delaware who we're going to see guaranteed now, not until the second round of the tournament, as both these teams will have first-round byes. Our congratulations to Steve Christensen for a great win tonight, and, of course, Coach Andrew Mears for a great season. Just the 3rd loss as Smyrna drops to 17 16-3, and William Penn moves to 16-4. Your quick thoughts on the games, and then we'll talk about our leading scorers and sign off from William Penn High School.
You know, Andrew Mears, I think, did a great job bringing his team up here. Again, they're kind of locked into the first-round bye situation. For William Penn, off a game where they lost by 24 to a 500 Howard team, gave up in what amounted to almost 1.5 games of basketball. Just an absolutely amazing effort. Jordan Harden comes up with the big basket. A great team effort by William Penn. There's enough there that they can go back and work on some things. But from a confidence standpoint, heading into the postseason, it doesn't get any better than this.
And so William Penn, a 2-point lead, 45-43 here at the high school. Your leading scorer, Gerard Wall, having not played for several games, back in the lineup, had 13 points. 12 points for both Buck Bowling and Jordan Hardy. Bowling had 3 in the double overtimes. Jordan Hardy only 2, but none more important than the game-winning shot. 5 points for Taryn Cochran, 2 for Israel Mangare, and 1 for Carlos Dean. Smyrna was led by Jameer Garnett, 17 points. Nashawn Sylvester had 11, 7 for Greg Bloodsworth, 6 for Nalik Beasley Johnson. And the story of the game for the Smyrna Eagles, and the story of the game for Gerard Wall and his defensive efforts. Caleb Matthews, who came into this game averaging 28.8 points per game, held to just 2 points. And so an exceptional defensive effort, not only by Gerard Wall, he was the man on him, but anytime you're playing the other team's superstar, you're getting a lot of help in a lot of places.
Absolutely. That's one of the reasons he was able to be so physical and just stuck like glue to Caleb Matthews, is because they play such good help defense. He knew if he went for a steal, if he tried to cut up. Not only led the team,
The Hadley Group is your local real estate resource.
I advise you to do it 10 times if you're
Associates in
defensive
2005. In 2013, Nicole Flora joined Brian, followed by Emma Burnett and Grant Jepp in 2014. That's when the Hadley Group was formed. Patterson Schwartz Associates offer you exceptional knowledge of local market conditions and a commitment to represent you honestly and professionally. So for your next purchase or sale, think the Hadley Group. Visit our website.
On Friday night against either Woodbridge or Lake Forest. William Penn, what a great way to go into the Blue Hen Conference Championship. They'll face Mount Pleasant at 5 o'clock on Saturday at St. Mark's. Be sure to tune in to 302 Sports Live at 2 o'clock on Friday when they announce the brackets for both the boys and the girls state tournament. That's going to do it for tonight. Thanks to the broadcast crew here on 302 Sports, or the production crew, I should say. For Marty Sheehan, I'm John Busby. Once again, your final score, William Penn 45, Smyrna 43. Good night from William Penn High School.
That was awesome.